Hey, I was having a conversation this morning, and I actually think it's time to be a bit more open and honest because the journey I've been on has been full of ups and downs. And I really truly believe that people can benefit from hearing the truth about my own weight loss journey and how the mindset behind it, and even the way I used to get triggered by different trainers and all these sorts of things. And this is before a lot of social media as well. And I wouldn't talk about this story. And I was saying, like, I've got a best-selling book and it's in the book. Why don't people read that? But I also didn't mention about being an international bestseller that often. I don't know why, but things are going to change when it comes to this. And I'm going to tell you the truth about me as Ollie Jordan Matthews, as this person that has been through a lot of stuff that you may benefit to realize that, hang on, that you're going through this stuff potentially already at the moment, and someone else has been through this stuff. And still, at times, we go through this as well when we talk about this stressful world that we live in. Now, what is it actually like to be overweight? Well, back when, and this is one of the reasons I don't talk about it much because I feel, oh, well, now I'm 34. This happened in my early 20s and late teens, but the mindset is still there. That stress was still there. So when my dad died when I was 15, so my dad was this healthy guy in theory on the outside, but he was highly, highly stressed. And he was 47 years old when he died. He used to work at caravan parks and holiday parks here in the UK, and he would be selling caravans, selling holiday homes, and then he went to be a general manager, basically picking the parks up from and turning them round in order to be a success. But that job was highly, highly stressful. And before this, I mean, I didn't really think there was a problem with weight or anything like that. I wasn't in like all the football teams and all the sports teams. I was into more computer games and being this geek sort of thing with music, loving hip hop back then. And it was just a massive, massive part of me. But I wouldn't say I was massively, massively overweight. I wasn't in ridiculous shape. I absolutely hated PE sessions because it involved changing in front of my classmates and bullying usually as a result. And I was always like not the last to be picked for the football team, but maybe like third from last. It was quite worrying when you got to those last numbers and like, oh, I got to have Ollie again. But in reality, like, I mean, I loved football. I was okay at it. I just didn't have that confidence to push forward with it, and I wasn't one of those cool kids. And when my dad died, I turned to food a lot. There were two things that were there for me: music and food. And you can imagine, I was 15. My dad went to hospital. I remember I got a text from him on the Monday saying, "Did you get the money that I sent you?" So my mum and dad split up when I was really young. So he lived about an hour and a half away. So the last text I actually got, and this is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about working with people pushing their business, people stressed out, because the last text that I got from my dad when he was alive was about money. He was there providing for his family to the point where it essentially killed him because of this stress. We didn't know what was going on deep inside. He had a migraine on the Wednesday, went to hospital, had a stroke, and on the Saturday he was dead at 47 years old. Now I have clients around this age right now, and clients that are massively stressed out that see that and think, damn, I actually do need to change because I'm focusing on pushing this money. And money is so important, but what am I actually taking away in order to get that money? The time from my family and all these other things, which being there for someone isn't just about the financial side of things. But I turned to food. And when I was 16, I believe it was, I got my first job, apart from paper round. And actually, first job was working on a fruit and veg stall. Probably would have been better if I kept eating the fruit and veg on that stall rather than going to McDonald's and started flipping burgers. And that was where I noticed there was this emotional connection with food that I was really, really struggling with. And I'll do another live about emotional eating and some other things with it. But I used to remember maybe for the first year, I would just go with it, have my Big Mac and fries or whatever, because you used to get a meal as staff every single break, which was a good thing, I thought. But I would always think, oh, I'm going to have a salad today. And then I would end up in the staff room with Big Mac, a Big McFlurry, and all these stuff. And I would make the McFlurry so it wasn't just these stingy little portion sizes, it was a massive portion size, or maybe a double quarter pounder and all this sort of thing. And then it would get to the point of finishing, and I would be thinking, oh, what people done is had this waste where you would then end up like probably having some food at the end of the night because it was just left over. Oh, like, what am I going to do? Oh, I can't say no to it. And it was like I was possessed to kind of go and eat that food, even though I knew I didn't want it. I wasn't hungry, but this chemical reaction was there to actually start eating that food. And I was aware that I was eating too much, but I just didn't know where to even start about going about it, or even whether I wanted to. I was like 16, 17, 18, and moving forward in my life and always writing lyrics, always producing hip hop. And then I would go and do my work there. And it was a horrible place to be in when I look back at it. And like, even to the point of, yeah, I used to love baggy clothes. I still love baggy clothes, but I was using them more as a crutch to say that I'm always going to get double XL t-shirts rather than getting large or anything like that, because it would hide the way my body felt. And even when it came to like confidence wise, I remember being with a girl at the time, and I wouldn't even take my top off during sex. It was crazy when I look at this sort of thing. And it was horrible to think back of this really low confident guy um, who was struggling with things going on. And then it turned to music college. So I left McDonald's, and I actually had a problem there. Like, the girl that I was with stopped like wanting to be with me, and that automatically made me feel, oh, it's the weight side of things. I started going to music college, and I started getting a bit more confidence about how good I was at producing music, how good I was at actually showing up, and being a bit more, because the people I was going to music college with, we were all those like outsiders that there. Like, I started to fit in a world of outsiders, and it gave me a bit more confidence. But I would still be stuck when it came to lunchtime, going over the road to the news agents and buying a big foot-long sub, a packet of chili heat wave Doritos, and a Red Bull. And then the lifestyle you live as well. Again, I would have these massive, great intentions about wanting to do something about it. But then the next day, I would still have that same lunch, like ridiculously expensive anyway, but I would still have that same lunch. I would go out in the evening, I would have my dinner, and then I would still find myself that we'd go and DJ at a club, or there'd be some battle rap going on or something like that, and I'd be there, and then suddenly we would go back, and it would be like midnight, 1 a.m., and the people around me were ordering takeaways. And I thought, I'm not hungry, don't need it. Wasn't down to alcohol because I was driving. Um, I would find myself just like, it would be like Homer Simpson gets with donuts. People are ordering around me, so I have to have it. There's no physical way that I could let them have that food and I wouldn't have some. So I'd end up ordering a pizza or a chili burger or just garlic bread or just something, staying out most of the night, and then going to music college, repeating this process over and over again, fueling on Red Bulls and Coke and all these sorts of things. And honestly, that like, it felt really harsh like looking back at that, and that emotional place I was in, constantly trying to have this connection with something. I started eating more and more, and there was this chemical reaction as to say why I wanted this food. Stuff I know now and how I help clients with it, emotionally, chemically, within the brain and inflammation going on, I didn't know then. So every time I tried to do something about it, I wasn't working on the mindset. I was thinking I need to go to the gym, join the gym, and do all this sort of thing. But I was too scared to do that. And I bought some dumbbells. Someone said you could go to a gym. I used to live in a place here in Norwich called Fort Marriott, and it was right next to a gym, which was actually the second gym I worked at further down the line. And my friend Ash at the time said, come to the gym and start training. And I worked with a guy, Ian. So you can see him on my profile as well. My first training was a guy called Ian Mills, and it's kind of like doing awesome things now, but like we've gone round in full circle. He'd asked me for advice and so on. And I was still scared to walk into the gym. So I totally resonate with people. And obviously at the moment here in the UK, it's hard. We can't go into the gyms, but when people say gyms are intimidating, it's horrible. I feel embarrassed to potentially be one of these people that are intimidating people without realizing. But I remember going into this country club gym, small place, had a few cardio sessions, equipment, a few weight machines, and then the dumbbell section. But I wouldn't go over to the dumbbell section. I spent the first 6 months until I started working with Ian on the cardio work, because like, who was I to actually go there and actually be this person that would be lifting weights or anything, lifting these really heavy weights, and they were grunting away and then clanging the weights and all these different things, doing that typical testosterone-driven thing. And I was like, what do I need to do? Even to the point where I even wanted to take drugs to start losing weight. But nothing I tried really seemed to work. And it would massively frustrate me. So I would hear trainers there before I started working with Ian. I would hear trainers and I would see things. And bear in mind, this is like MySpace days. This is the days of before Facebook, where you're on Facebook but not really sharing as much, that sort of thing. Way before Instagram, way before Twitter. And people would just say, you just need to eat less shit, or you need to go and work out harder. Just stop eating that, without understanding what that actual feeling was like of, like, I don't give a damn about weight loss. I've lost a girlfriend because I was low in confidence and didn't have the body that I wanted to have. I don't give a damn about losing 50, 60 pounds. I want to just feel a bit more confident in my skin. I don't want to get out of breath and need my inhaler when I leave my front door and try and run to the end of the block, which was literally 100 meters. And that was a horrible thing to have these trainers saying, how's your diet and all this stuff? People that weren't even necessarily qualified in nutrition, which was another story for another day, but were telling me to eat less and move more, and not really resonating with how it felt like. Like, who are you to tell me how to lose weight if you've never been out of shape yourself? Who are you to tell me about these psychological things that you've never actually dealt with? People taking the piss out of you because you're a little bit overweight or you can't stop eating that food. And honestly, that I'm getting quite emotional talking about it now, but it would really frustrate me saying people just stop eating shit and start working out more. It's easy. Yes, in reality, it is easy. Like, or in like that, yeah, it is easy. But in reality, it's bloody hard when we look at the emotional background, this connection with food that we have. And it was just a horrible place to be in. So when I see people, like right now, it still frustrates me, as you can sense with this, that saying you just need to eat less, you just need to move more, and all this stuff, like about building these habits. How did I start doing it? I started trying to push. It was like I'd had enough, and then I found out that maybe doing some weights was a good thing. I'm not a personal trainer now. I go deeper into holistic health coaching, the mindset, the life coaching, all these different things which we add up. But like really, like from that journey, like it still triggers me to this day. And I can go into like, yes, after that, I went into the bodybuilding stage. I dropped 100 pounds, but that was another extreme in itself, which was no way healthy. And people see these pictures. It was mentioned on a call earlier. Oh, there's this guy that's in great shape and things like that. Honestly, I'm more confident where I am now than when I was on a bodybuilding stage, because when I did lose all that weight, when I thought gaining muscle was the thing to do, I was just building this shell of insecurity. I'm the person now that has been through all that stuff, which has got me to where I am now. But honestly, like, I want to talk about it more. And if you resonate with any of this stuff, drop a comment, drop me a message, and I would love to connect with you, not to sell you this stuff, but just to know that there are people there that have been through this. And like, yes, we still go up and down when it comes to anxiety and things like that, and things that we work on and constantly trying to improve ourselves. But not everyone is this, just go and lift some weights and drop your food and cause more stress. And especially in a world where like people are saying it's so easy to do it. You just eat 70,000 times a day. You eat chicken, you eat broccoli, and in a world where they take all the enjoyment out of food. And that is a surefire way for you to fall off. I guarantee that is a surefire way for you to fall off, rather than building small habits, consistently building small habits and moving forward with your health. When we look at weight loss as a goal, like honestly, that I never wanted to lose 100 pounds. Never. Like I would say I did, but when I looked deeper into it, it was that feeling when I lost that girlfriend. It was the feeling when I would go shopping and be so pissed off that I'd have to buy jeans that were so much bigger for like just to feel comfy. Or even though I live in track trousers now, jogging bottoms, like I would always just live in them and they would be extra large. It was a horrible place to be in when I look back at it. All these things about hiding what was truly underneath these multiple layers of clothes. And it was not a healthy place to be in at all. And in hindsight, going on to the bodybuilding stage has taught me some amazing things about discipline and life, but that was not a healthy place to be in. That balance between the two is the healthiest place we can be in. But yeah, I still get triggered to this day when people simply say, just eat less, just go and work out more. There is a lot more to health than those two things. So if you've resonated with this, drop it a like, hit a comment, or anything like that. And I truly, truly appreciate you for sitting down and taking the time to listen to part of my story. And I'll talk a little bit deeper about the bodybuilding side and what it was like to develop an eating disorder, how I related that with the loss of my dad and all these different things. I will talk about that as well. If you want to hear it, just drop me a message and I will do some more videos on it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.